Everyone, welcome to the r/Indieheads podcast. I'm your host, Matty, aka Ricky G. On this week's episode, we have...
Jeremiah, Kill Trap, that guy, cool dude.
AJ, be gay. Whoa, guys, not cool.
Who changed that?
Okay, wait.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh my god, wait, we're gonna stop, we're stopping. We're stopping.
No, keep going.
Keep it.
No, keep going. Hey, did you say your actual name?
Who's next? I'm done.
Ethan, Eon997.
Nick, we have herpes.
Oh, God. Okay.
It was Jeremiah.
We got some hardcore juice already.
It was Jeremiah.
Jeremiah,
It's obviously Jeremiah.
Jeremiah and I have beat. He had one of his albums listed as "Fuck You, AJ," self-titled. So.
Yeah, okay, we should probably clarify what just happened and why we're all giggling, because the, introduction in the script, AJ's username on Reddit was changed from The Dark Hobo, which is what it actually is, to The Gay Hobo, by the gayest person in this podcast, Jeremiah.
I got butthurt and memed on.
Okay, let's get into the news. The number one news story this week, or the top post in r/Indieheads this week, is that Haim are beginning work on a second album.
Who?
Haim.
Haim.
H-I-M-I-M.
Is that how you say it?
Some people say Chaim.
Haim?
I say
I think
Haim.
it's the Jewish word for life or whatever. L'chaim.
It's
I thought it was their last name.
the Jewish
They
word
hang out
for
with
girl
Dills,
band. Yeah.
Isn't their last
Yep.
name?
Yes, it is their last name.
Oh.
Fuck if I know, okay.
I hope. Speaking about the album, though, I hope there's more A$AP Ferg features on it.
Yes, I want the A$AP Ferg and Haim collaboration album. I need that in my life.
That music video is so good, though.
It's like that. Yeah, the music video and the song itself was
It's got,
actually
like-
really good.
It's got Ezra Koenig's in there. There's like a Grimes cameo.
Ezra Koenig is in there.
A$AP Rocky cameo.
No, I don't think he was in it. I think people thought he was in it, but he wasn't actually in it.
Oh, really? They got some
Grimes was in it.
Yep.
Had a decent amount of cameos. It was a fun little music video parodying like Maury and all those types of shows, like Jerry Springer, just trash TV.
I think they're pretty good. So this should be pretty good.
Yep.
Yes, I haven't listened to the first album, so I will have to do that.
It's pretty inoffensive, kind of 7 out of 10 indie pop, but it's worth a listen.
Yes. Okay, so we don't have much to say about the number one news event of the week. So on to the next one. Ad Droste announced that new Grizzly Bear, they're beginning work on new material.
Yeah.
According to a tweet where he gave a shout out to Björk. Shout out to my man Ed Droste. I don't know who you are. I've never listened to Grizzly Bear, but shout out to you
Lost.
for that shout out.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you guys think of Grizzly Bear? I've never listened to him, so maybe one of you guys have.
Same.
They're legit. They are legit.
Yeah, I don't know, they're kind of like, their style and their sound is really unique, but it's still pretty good though.
It's like the best way to frame it, at least for me, is it's like Animal Collective meets like folk rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the best way to put it, because it's very different. But the harmonies are there, and it's kind of.
They have some great singles too.
Yeah, like you've probably heard that one song from the Catamus, 2 weeks before yeah, that one.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that one, Jeremiah. And I mean, there are 2 albums that they've released. I mean, even 3. They've had a series of really good releases, and everybody in that band is just super talented. Like, I mean, a lot of people they have definite highlights in their band, which would probably be the front vocalist. But I mean, like even their drummer, their guitarist, like their guitar work on Shields is like a definite step up from before. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. They're probably gonna release another really good album. I mean, just saying right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they made another good.
That's
Good
a safe bet. That is a safe bet.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool if they did that. Okay.
Yeah, we're probably gonna go through like all these news events really quickly. There's not much this week.
Except the last one.
Except the last one.
That's the most exciting one in my opinion.
I would agree, but we'll get there. So Toro Y Moi announced a new album called What For, and he shared a new song called Empty Nesters. And this is pretty quickly. I mean, Lay Sins, Michael, that came out in November, I think. So it's like pretty. He's good. You know, he's a workhorse. That Champagne Chachi.
Chaz Bundwick.
Chaz Bundwick, Champagne Chachi. That's his Instagram handle. I think his Twitter handle also.
He's got some nice glasses.
Yeah.
Nice glasses. Yeah. Very handsome man, I'd say.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. Like in terms of indie musicians, he's up there. Like
he's a cutie.
I mean, that's a little far.
This is the gayest podcast,
but like
podcast.
Not really. But I mean, like, yeah, he's okay. I mean,
okay, let's talk about the music. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
So the new song, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was just kind of like I just didn't really care for it.
I mean, it wasn't his best, but it's decent. It's good. I say it's good to decent. I don't know.
I didn't care for it. I mean, I really liked Michael. I thought Michael was a really underrated album. Not many people talked about it last year, and they really should have.
It was underrated, but it's
a very enjoyable dance record. But
it's a step down, and also like not as good as anything that Toro Y Moi that he's released under that other name, Toro Y Moi.
I think he's not familiar with him. Like, what is his best?
I would probably. I think Causers of This.
It's like, what is it called? Like,
most people say Underneath the Pine.
Underneath the Pine is his best album.
People say it's the best because it's the best combination of like stuff he was doing on of Chill Wave and like what he was getting ready to do on like the next album.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I personally enjoy Causers of This the most.
Causers of This, yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the first album he did.
Yeah, he has a kind of weird, like, I mean, if I'm trying to think of artists really similar, like Washed Out, if you guys have ever listened to Washed Out, it's like almost the same thing, actually. It's pretty surprising. They're really, like, just like the style, I guess, like with like synth and like chilled out and like kind of like dreamy vocals and stuff like that. They're basically like, I mean, almost identical, but I mean, Toro Y Moi like goes off a little bit in different directions, but Washed Out pretty similar. Yeah, this is. I mean, I think I actually haven't really listened to any of his albums like all the way through.
Yeah, me neither.
Same.
I've only listened to like a few songs, like that really popular song. I think like his most popular song is like "Say That," and
I'd maybe say that's it's one of his maybe the one that's on GTA 5.
Yeah,
he has like 3 or 4 on GTA 5. Actually.
Yeah, maybe that's where I heard it. But that's the one that I've listened to a lot, and I thought it was good. But I haven't actually gotten into any of the full albums, but I would like to, probably.
Yeah, I think he's got a pretty decent discography. I thought Causes is very good. I think I haven't really listened to Underneath the Pine, and Anything Returns also pretty good. And I really enjoy Michael. So yeah, Toro Y Moi. I mean, hopefully the album's good. I don't think he's released like a horrible album yet, but I didn't really care for this new track. I think he's just kind of going for a new direction. I'm not feeling it as much. But I mean, 6 months after another album, that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working hard. All right. Next thing.
So Saint Vincent released a new track called "Bad Believer," and it's obvious this is a throwaway track. It's a throwaway track. It's written all over it. It's definitely like the most poppiest song she's ever made, but that also is kind of a bad thing because it's sort of mediocre because of that.
I don't know. I think it was okay.
Yeah.
I
actually genuinely liked it, and
really,
I hope this is like a step towards what her next album's.
Oh, please no.
No, God, I loved it.
If I want her to go in a direction, I want her to go like what she was doing on like Digital Witness. I want some more horns. Some more brass.
Horns aside, this has a lot of synths and like really fuzzy guitar, and I don't know. I was feeling it.
I think
I actually do agree with them.
I mean, it's the most mainstream.
It's not a. I'm glad it wasn't on the self-titled album.
It wouldn't fit in.
It would have taken away from it.
Yeah.
And it's not really like a strong song either, but I think it actually represents, what it does represent is actually a very cool sound, which I actually do hope that she kind of explores more in the future. Like, hey, hold on. Like the synthy dancey, like, vibe that I got from it, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed the 2 minutes and 57 seconds of it. And I mean, it wasn't like something I'll play on repeat for years to come, but I hope that her next album she explores something like that. That could be really cool.
there's any direction I want her to go in, yes, more brass or more what she was doing earlier. I mean, I really enjoy St. Vincent, and I knew she's probably going to more progress in that sound since it was her most successful album, and people seem to really like it. But I mean, but those first 3 albums that she does are really good, and St. Vincent is also very good. But you know, I don't want her to go in a direction she's doing a Bad Believer. I don't want her. I mean, I'm glad she's getting successful, and I feel like the song, like if it was pushed correctly, it could have been a big hit because it sounds like it could easily fit on the radio. But
it's
also,
not like
but to me, it sounds bland. It's just kind of bland to me. It's just like it's like the sound that like her style just like condensed down like really crazily. Like there's a little bit of her style there, but like it's just barely there. It just sounds to me just not good.
It feels like a natural progression from the self-titled, in my opinion. Like I don't know.
I mean,
feel like she was.
I mean, I imagine the song was recorded around the time of self-titled.
That's why, yeah. It kind of feels like a leftover, not in a bad way though.
I didn't really care for it that much, and then I'm the only one like groaning when you guys are saying, "Oh,
well,
she needs to go in this
I don't
direction."
like it.
Wait, who said I didn't like it?
Ethan.
Okay, thank you, Ethan.
I don't really like St. Vincent, really, though. But like,
Okay, get out.
I mean, I haven't.
God damn it. Okay, keep going. Go.
I just feel like there's all these female pop alt vocalists that are doing. She's doing something different, but like we were talking about Haim earlier or something, or Churches. Just there's a bunch of. They all have different sounds, but they're kind of all doing this female pop indie thing that I don't know. Maybe it's just not for me, but I just don't get it.
I mean, actually, I thought that was the same. I thought St. Vincent was.
I would disagree with St. Vincent. I can see where with Churches that makes sense. With Haim, that also kind of makes sense. But like St. Vincent, she shreds.
Yeah, she really shreds. She's a rock star.
Maybe I haven't heard the right tracks.
With Churches and
go
Haim,
listen to earlier stuff.
Yeah, check out
the first 3 albums are definitely like more focused on like, especially Strange Mercy is very much like her shredding. She's a great guitarist. So yeah.
She is an excellent guitarist. You have to see her
I take back what I said.
You have to see her
go listen to the first 3 albums. I think you'll probably enjoy those a lot more than the self-titled. Okay, so on to the next news event. The Mountain Goats announced a new album called Beat the Champ, which is coming out April 7th, and it's supposed to be like focused on like wrestling. Shout out to r/squared circle, by the way.
What?
Shout out.
Weird
shout out to r/squared circle, the wrestling subreddit.
We're selling out.
We're selling out.
So, okay. I don't actually listen. I've never really listened to the Mountain Goats. I've been meaning to, but I actually have a funny little anecdote I want to share with you about the Mountain Goats.
Great, dude. Let me hear about it.
Love anecdotes.
So, when my church, like 4 years back, we got a new preacher, and he was super cool. He's from like South Carolina. And so, of course, my parents invited him over for dinner. He's actually a really cool dude. And so, we were at dinner, my parents were like, yeah, so Jeremiah really likes alternative music. And I was like, yeah, like Coldplay, The Strokes, you know, the good stuff. So,
entry level.
And he's like, yeah, man, I love alternative too. Do you know the Mountain Goats? And I was like, no. Of course, I've never heard of them. And I was like,
did he call you a plebe?
Out, which, of course, I was lying.
Did he call you a plebe? Like right there?
No, but he was like, he talked about the Mountain Goats for like 5 minutes, and then like I learned more about them, and apparently they're like not the most clean band. I just think it's really funny that my preacher was talking about.
Are they a god band?
Mountain Goats? No, they're not.
I don't think they're like, they're not.
They're not. I'm pretty sure they talk about dirty things too.
Whoa,
so I was just like,
oh goodness, Jeremiah.
I just think it's hilarious that my pastor was talking. Okay. I'll check them out.
That's a good story.
Thank you.
The Mountain Goats, they're priests love them.
Priests love them. Yes, and also this is that's the tagline that's going to be on the album, or like on like posters, like priest love us.
4 out of 5 priests would recommend the Mountain Goats.
Yeah, not much to say as unless someone else here is a fan of the Mountain Goats.
The other priest would recommend Christian rock.
Yeah. Okay, I have a Christian rock. Okay, so my sister listens to like Christian rock, like Christian music on the radio. Like I was in the car with her the other day, and I was just like wanting to kill myself because it's so bland.
Really, it was that bad?
Christian music, it's so bland. It's just so bland.
I have a legitimate like qualm with Christian rock. I'm a Christian, by the way. If you can't tell, I go to church, but don't hate on me.
I'm not.
Right. All right, but I'm very tolerant. I'm very accepting. But my biggest problem with Christian rock is that, in my opinion, religion is a very personal thing. Like, it's all about forming your own idea of it. That's why I'm not super big on organized religion, but it's like all about forming your own personal stuff. And what Christian rock does is it's like, Jesus, and it like these people are like telling you these things, these like deeply intimate experiences, except they're like telling you that you also have to experience it. They're trying to like make you experience it with them, and that just does not fly with me, and actually really offends me on like a personal level.
It just sounds awful.
It's also really bad too. But
I hate all of it except Creed.
That just really bothers me.
Creed is the best. Like,
it's like
favorite band.
It's like, you know, you think of the greats. You think Pink Floyd, Queen, Rolling Stones, the Beatles. Number one on the list is Creed. It's got to be Creed. Scott Stapp is the greatest vocalist of all time.
Vocalist of all time.
Wait, hold on. I'm not hating on like bands like U2 that like use a lot of Christian imagery. I'm just saying like Christian rock bands where they're like,
explicitly
Jesus, you saved me, amazing grace, and it's like, because when you listen to music, you're supposed to connect with it. You know? You're supposed to connect with it, and you're supposed to feel with it. But when they talk about their own like religious experiences, you can't. Like, there's just a huge disconnect. It's like forcing, yeah. You know, I can't mess with that.
Wow,
I'm glad that people enjoy it, but it's not for me. Okay, sorry, that's my little rant. That's been like in me for a while. I haven't really had a chance to tell anyone about it.
I feel like I just came off as an asshole who was against religion and whatnot, and I apologize if I came off that way.
I'm very offended, and
if you want to be religious, go. Cool. I don't give a shit, really.
Yep, I'm very offended.
Do you, man or woman who's listening to this podcast?
I'm leaving the podcast now.
It's offended me. Please don't go. Okay. Next news event. So Modest Mouse released a new song and a video for a song called Coyotes. What do you guys have to say about it? Because I still haven't listened to Modest Mouse.
Alright. It's pretty good. It's not, of course, again, as I've said before, we're never going to get This Is a Long Drive. We're never going to get Lonesome Crowded West again. And I think we need to accept that and be ready to move on. It's obviously very polished. It's obviously very, you know, I want to say dumbed down, but it's very streamlined.
It's pretty dumbed down, though. Like, really.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely smoothed out from what it would be like 15 years ago. So what I think is that it's actually a really solid track. It's similar to We Missed the Boat. It's like that really soft, like kind of bubbly, kind of melancholy single. And I actually really enjoy it. Like, I think I'll probably be listening to it a lot more when the album comes out.
I like it. I know
at first I'm a little bit wary of it, like everybody else was, but I think with the album, I'm excited for the album. I'm excited to hear what they do with it. So I think it's better than Lampshades on Fire.
I really like Lampshades on Fire, actually.
I really like Lampshades on Fire.
I couldn't finish this new single, honestly. I don't know. Maybe it was just I was tired or in a bad mood or something, but I just was like, I can't listen to more than 30 seconds of this. I don't know what it was. Maybe if I listened to it now or something, I would like it, but it was just so boring and so dull to me. I don't know. And I like some of the newer Modest Mouse, but like, just, I don't know, something about it just really ticked me off.
Maybe you just hate coyotes, you just don't know it yet.
The video is really cute, let's be real.
They eat dogs and cats and stuff.
It's true. I think one of Miley Cyrus's dogs was eaten by a coyote.
They're the assholes of the animal kingdom, really.
There's actually some, like, around where I live. And I'm living in, like, Northern Virginia, where there's, like, nothing bad ever. And it's like, coyotes? What? How does that work? But apparently they exist. I don't know.
I live near you, and I do not have a coyote within a while from me, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just stop at the Maryland.
Maybe it's like the local Falls Church gang, like, raises coyotes.
I think
for their villainous drug dealing schemes, and they train the coyotes to like attack house pets to demoralize their enemies. Oh, sorry, never mind.
But that's what happens, Jeremiah. You're right.
It's funnier if you know that I come from like a really like wealthy, affluent neighborhood. But okay, never mind.
Cool, Jeremiah. Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna.
You just had to brag about it.
Officially announce that we are ending the r/Indieheads podcast in place of the r/Coyotes podcast. We will talk about coyotes for hours and 90 minutes.
Coyote
I have
fact.
listened to a podcast where they talked about coyotes for about good 40 minutes. There was.
Yeah, it's this one. You're listening to it right
So,
now.
The coyote
Listen
is
to
a
it right
canid native
You're living
in
it.
America. It is a
Listen,
smaller, more
Harmontown,
basal,
man.
close relative to the gray wolf, being roughly the North American equivalent to the
Okay.
old
Okay,
wolf.
we needed. We're talking about.
So it is
Yes, we
larger,
have
more-
we have exciting. We have
This
something very
list is
exciting
least
to talk
concerned
about.
by the
Stop it.
IBC.
On to the next news event.
The best way to defend yourself a coyote is spinning in a circle kicking. Fun fact.
I feel like you're lying and you just want us to die if we get in a coyote attack.
Nope. Here, I can.
Actually,
I'll
hold
send
on,
you a
but it's
video.
actually-
No, I'm sure you're right. I don't know anything about
Apparently
coyotes.
coyotes are actually extending into South America. Apparently their presence is beyond the Panama Canal at this point.
Very
Oh,
interesting.
damn.
I'll
Oh,
keep that in
wow.
mind next time I cross the Panama Canal, Jeremiah.
So on to the next news event. Sun Kill Moon announced
baby.
that his next album could be coming out by the end of the fall, or by this fall.
All right.
And
I'm gonna-
AJ wrote something. What'd you write, AJ?
I'm gonna take this one. Well, what I wrote was, "Oh baby, war on drugs, BTFO'd the fuck out." But
Oh, baby.
Isn't that redundant
triple.
though? Like, what
listen
is?
up, listen up. I'm gonna paint you guys a picture right here. Mark Kozlek is the hero that music needs right now. He is so fucking amazing. Benji was undoubtedly the greatest album of the past year, and Mark Kozlek is a fucking man. He will rant against social media, he will blow the fuck out of social justice warriors, and he will shit on war on drugs on stage. Also, his music's really fucking good. People don't realize that. He doesn't just put out music as Sun Kill Moon. Like, he made 2 solo albums in 2013 that were both really fucking stellar. He's always touring.
But Mark Kozlek sings
Hot
Christmas carols.
singles.
Was that stellar?
Oh, I forgot about that. That was
You said he released 2 albums in 2013.
in 2013.
Last year
That
was
2014. That was
2014.
2014. He also
2014. Oh,
he released 2 in 2013, Desert Shore and Jimmy LaVale.
oh, I got mixed up. I
collaborative.
thought you were talking about Mark Kozlek sings Christmas carols.
That was another beast entirely.
We don't talk about that right now.
I think
But
we
yeah.
did talk about it.
If we probably will get this album this year, and it's going to be fucking amazing. Is all I have to say.
I'm excited. I really like Benji. I should probably go listen to his earlier stuff with like Red
Yep.
House Painters and whatnot.
Definitely listen to Red House Painters, and definitely listen to his solo stuff.
And I did watch a few weeks ago Almost Famous, which he's in, and he talks about it on Benji.
That's right. Yeah.
He's
Right,
almost
again.
famous.
Yeah, he's in Almost Famous. I think he's like the bass player.
Oh,
Or
okay.
bassist.
So he's not acting. He's just like.
No, he's acting.
Oh,
in
No,
it.
he acts.
okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
and
he's-
what? Sorry, I wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention.
Mark Kozlek. He's in Almost Famous. He's the bassist in
Almost
in the
Famous.
band Stillwater,
Oh, okay.
which is what the movie's about. But yeah, I'm excited. I think the album will probably be really good. I mean, it's gonna be really interesting because he's kind of like Benji's got like kind of this like he got a lot more attention than he used to.
Yeah.
This
he
new album
actually-
and like all this like the war on drugs and all that stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna do.
He's really pissed off about that actually, because for some, like, he doesn't think Benji is the best thing he's put out, which I guess is weird to go on record and say, but he says that like all these media sites and people on the internet that say like Benji is his best work are just idiots and don't listen to his stuff. But he's kind of a cranky old man, so I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be good though.
Oh yeah, speaking of Sun Kill Moon, I did a story. I write for the student newspaper, and I did a top 5 albums of 2014. I had Benji at number 5, and I had to cut it out for space.
God
So I can only
damn.
do like 3 albums. It sucks.
That's an
Jeez.
injustice.
Okay, speaking of being blasted the fuck out, I got blasted the fuck out like a few weeks ago, about like a week ago. So
Don't say it.
Someone
Don't
was-
say it. Never mind. Okay, keep going.
don't say it. Someone was in my class and like my friends were in the class. They were talking to me about like my music articles, and I was like, it's like yeah. I mean, I try to recommend like I like my one of the segments I do on there is like a like monthly music roundup where like I list off albums that like people may have missed over the past month.
Because they all have. 'cause they all
Basically,
have
like
shit
stupid
taste.
hipster garbage that no one would listen to otherwise.
the
Besides,
title?
me. Stupid hipster garbage with Matty Mo.
I
So
dig it.
and she was and like they wanted. She's like, why don't you review stuff that like people actually listen to? Like, why don't you review the new Fall Out Boy album?
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
god!
really
Alright,
good.
don't even get me started. That album is
That's so good though.
fantastic.
It's so good.
That album is fantastic. That song "Centuries." Oh my
It's
god!
probably, okay,
I hate that song.
That and Megan Trainor's title are tied for album of the year easily. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be.
Okay, yeah. So she and then we were talking like it was later in the day, and she was like, I think she was trying to ask, like, what genre is My Chemical Romance? And I said shit, and she got so mad at me.
Hey!
Even though, no. I bought Blackberry on CD whenever it came out. Okay, I don't think My Chemical Romance is a bad band.
They're not bad. They're good.
They're a good
Hello.
band, I'd say. Rest in peace. So yeah, that's my story. On to the next segment, I guess. What have we been listening to?
4 on Metacritic. What the hell?
Oh, was it 74 Metacritic, the new Fall Out Boy?
Fall Out Boy album.
Well, you gotta realize, like, some of
Metacritic.
those
That's
critics
because
on there are just
When
trash.
does that happen?
Well, no, you gotta realize that album is a fucking masterpiece.
I know. I don't know why it's only a 74. That's what I'm saying.
On
That's
to
what
the
I'm
next
thinking.
segment.
Perfect
What
100.
have we been listening to?
Fall Out Boy.
AJ, you want to tell us what you've been listening to?
Yeah, just Fall Out Boy. No, I'm kidding.
As you should.
I listened to 2 really, really good hip hop albums came out on the same day this week.
Was it a
Joey
Tuesday?
Badass's Beat 4 Dumb
No,
Monkey.
don't say that word. It's a bad word. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Joey Bad Word.
Joey Bad Word, as I have it to schedule, dropped B4 .da $, which stands for B4 the money.
Dude, who was
And
that
nothing
last
else.
week?
It means
We
absolutely
didn't get that
nothing
last
else.
week. I think we mentioned that,
That
in
was
the rules.
me.
and
That
stuff.
was
I actually
me. I
didn't
did not
get it
get that
either.
at all.
I actually hadn't
Yeah.
gotten it. I assumed it was badass. I thought he
I just-
didn't
we-
somehow managed to not get
Yeah.
badass. And I realized it was before the money.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And see, I learned that when I was re-listening to the podcast because
Yep.
I was on an ego trip and I was like, I need to bask in my glory. Alright, sorry.
Okay, tell us
great
about
album.
Before the Money.
Maddie mentioned it last week, but it's really, really good.
It is very,
Um,
very good.
It's got.
I didn't listen to it this week, though.
You mentioned it last week. It's got.
I mentioned it last week, but I didn't listen. I
Yeah.
didn't listen to it this week.
It's got
Yeah.
insanely good production, like really old school. He emulates like '90s hip hop, but he does it really, really well. And
He gives
like,
respect to the genre.
yeah, the
Yeah.
drums are like a standout thing. Like every song, you can like hear them clearly, and it's great. I like pretty much every song on this album. Like I've listened to it front to back a lot this week, just walking to class and shit like that. But it's really good, and he tackles for a 20-year-old kid. He tackles some like serious subjects in hip hop, like the state of the genre. He tackles race in America. He tackles gangster vibes and shit. It's a really good hip hop album. It's probably going to be one of the best hip hop albums of the year, in my opinion.
And he got so many bars on this album.
Yes,
Like,
he's a really impressive young MC. Like
alright, there's that one. Alright,
No
this is my
doubt.
favorite line. I stand juxtaposed to all my pros, realist, illest. I don't really want. And niggas, I know. See these foes biting all the flows. They even look the pose. Like, it's just so good.
Did you
I don't
write
know.
that line,
That was
Jeremiah?
What song is that on?
juxtaposed. It's juxtaposed because he uses That's from Big Dusty, which is
Yeah.
the single.
Did you write that line, Jeremiah?
I did. No,
Nice.
think,
that's. Sorry, I completely botched the delivery, but the moral of the story is that line is
It's
so
good.
good.
My
and
favorite
he's so
songs,
many other ones.
My favorite
go.
songs are probably Curry Chicken, Haze's View.
That's a really good
and,
song.
Ace's View is really good.
Escape 120, to me, that beat sounds like it could have been on You're Dead by Flying Lotus. Like, that's a really good beat on Escape 120. And, yeah, I think Badass is a good album.
Yeah, it's very, very
Or-
good. Alright, I'm
how
gonna let
much?
you have the rest of yours. Sorry.
No problem, no. I mean, I'm sure other people listen to that, so if anyone else wants to chime
Yeah,
in.
I was gonna talk
Or-
about it in mine, so I thought I'd share on yours too, because it was. I mean, it's such a good album.
Did you say what you want to say?
Yeah, I said what I want to say, so you can
I
go.
said what I want to say. The next album,
Say what he
which
say.
was an extremely, extremely pleasant surprise to me, being not only good, but I would dare say great, is Lupe Fiasco's Tetsuo and Youth. I was pretty surprised by this album. Lupe definitely fell off. He had some solid albums early in his career, and then his later output has been embarrassing, and he's been pulling this, like, I'm an artist now, I'm disappearing from Twitter, I'm a recluse. And I was like, this is not going to work at all, this is going to be embarrassing. And then I look at the track list for this thing, and there's several songs that are almost 10 minutes in length, which is very hard to pull off in hip-hop, but the first track, where he, like, actually sings, or raps, sorry.
Oh god, Murrow is so
Mural-
good.
Mural is so good. He goes hard for literally 9 minutes straight. There's no chorus on that thing. There's just a vocal sample.
It is
that
just
plays.
bars. It's bars
It is-
after
It is
bars.
bars after bars after bars, and it's so interesting. Every single lyric, like, it keeps you listening. It's pretty much poetry. And what Lupe is doing, what Lupe does with this album, that a lot of people try to do, is a lot of hip hop artists throw around the word like, this is a concept album, and there's a lot of themes on this. this album is pretty much what like all of those people try and fail to do. Like there's clear messages, there's clear themes, there's characters, and there's plot to this thing. And there's like a theory that you're supposed to listen to this album backwards, and there's Jesus Christ allegories and stuff like that. It's deep, and like my first impression was that this thing was way too long for its own good. But I've gone back and listened to it through a couple times, and while there are some songs that kind of aren't good and don't hold my attention, like overall as a project, it's extremely impressive.
Remember when you said bad concept albums, were you thinking of YG's My Crazy Life?
I was
Shut
specifically
up, dude.
thinking.
Shut up, man.
I listened to Tetsuo in Youth, and when it ends, I go, "Wow, this is what Childish Gambino tried to do with Because the Internet." And
I know. I mean, okay. I like Because the Internet. I think it's a good album. I'd say it's a 9 out of 10. I think it's a great album.
9 out of 10.
Musically,
No,
it's really great.
that's
But
high.
It's like 6.5.
I would say 9 out of 10. I thought it was
7.
great. It's got tons of replay value. I think all this, and this is someone who doesn't like Childish Gambino. Okay, I usually don't like. I don't like anything he's done. Besides
I
Because
think
the
you
Internet.
kind of do like him because you gave
Have
his
you
album a
listened-
9 out of
yeah.
10.
Have you
Yes,
listened to
but
Matt-
I don't like
Matt,
Camp. I don't like Road to. I don't like anything else he's done. I didn't really care for Stone Mountain. I thought Kawhi was decent,
Have you
but I
listened
thought
to
Stone
Tetsuo
Mountain
in
was
Youth? Have you
awful.
listened to this Lupe album?
Yes, I did listen to this. It's actually. I've only listened to it like once, and I tried listening to it again. I think I didn't get.
It is a
I got
like.
distracted.
I know this is a very kind of basic. People throw this around a lot, but you have to listen to this more than once, and you have to give. It
I know, and I will probably listen to it more
But
than
it
once.
is-
I
it is
got
worth
really
it.
distracted by a certain album we're going to talk about later.
What would that be? Anyway,
I don't know.
the third thing I put in my ears this week that I want to talk about is the new Aphex Twin EP, which I enjoyed more than I enjoyed Zero.
Wait,
I
the new
think
Apex Twin EP. What is that called?
Oh, God.
Computer-controlled
acoustics part two.
Computer controlled
Acoustics.
acoustic instruments Part 2. Where's Part 1?
Nobody knows.
It's
He does
Apex
that-
Twin. You don't have to ask. It's
Yeah,
like
no. If you look at the track list too, he has like a song called like. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull.
Don't
it.
try
He
to
has-
pronounce it. Jesus.
No, it's like
we don't want you to hurt yourself, man. Just chill out a little bit.
Disrespect 4 comes several tracks before Disrespect 1, and then there's also like Snare 2, Disc Hat 2. He's just kind of fucking around with you, but I think this is really solid. And like, I'm glad to have Aphex Twin back under his name. And yeah, this was shorter and a lot more just interesting sounds than Zero, in my opinion.
Phil Elverum does that too, by the way. Sorry, I'm just like, like say like giving like songs like part names, but there might not be like a part. I mean, actually, sorry, this is kind of off topic a little bit, but I kind of noticed this with Phil Elverum and the microphones, because a lot of song names on the Glow Part 2 are references to songs on like It Was Hot and
Yeah.
Don't Wake Me Up and stuff like that. But like the Gleam Part 2, I can't find the Gleam Part 1 is on It Was Hot, and the Glow Part 2 is the album, and then the Glow Part 1 is on It Was Hot too. I think that's kind of cool that he does that, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think it's kind of like, and there's like some similarities between both songs, like between Part 1 and Part 2, which is kind of interesting and sort of weird. But I think it's pretty unique that he does that. And
That is pretty unique.
Richard James, he's a strange fellow.
He sure is.
Indeed.
He's. So yeah, I have it downloaded. I need to listen to it.
It's real
It's
good.
good.
I'm going to talk about it too.
okay.
Okay.
You can talk about it right now. It's
Oh,
on
okay,
topic.
I'll talk about. I thought I don't know if is it Cyro? Cyro? I was saying Cyro.
It's
Cyro.
literally pronounced
Oh.
Cyro, yeah.
I called
Okay.
it Zero. Whatever.
I liked it just as much. It's a lot more experimental, obviously, and
Definitely.
darker. It's different, and there's only like 3-4 real songs on it that are like, because Cyro is so like melodic and almost getting to the point where it's like mainstream and like could be. I mean, it's obviously still Aphex Twin and IDM and stuff, but like it was pretty accessible. This is not accessible. This is Aphex Twin is his most experimental when he's still being beat driven. But it's really good. I like it a lot. But it's not accessible. In my opinion.
I did like Sarah. I did like Sarah a lot. I thought, as someone who was like a new Aphex Twin fan, I thought it was very good. It's a
I
nice
just
little
think
like.
this one sounds more interesting. Like Cyro was a one-trick pony in my opinion, and like a lot of that was the hype around Aphex Twin. But then
Would you say that like this EP? Would you say it's the sound that you wanted Aphex Twin to explore on Cyro?
Not even that, because it's in some ways a sound like I didn't think he was capable of, but I really like it, like as itself.
And he did say in interviews that like he's got a lot more music like saved up. Like it's like, guys, don't worry, I'm gonna be releasing a lot more music in like almost, when did Cyro come out?
Last year.
I'm trying to figure out like the month it came out. I think it was like September.
No, it was in like.
Was it October?
No, it was. Oh, it was September. What the heck? I had this weird feeling that it was like a lot earlier on in the year for some reason.
No,
like,
I think it was like kind of later.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty quickly he's like, okay, here we go, new music, guys. I think so. Hopefully we have a lot more like Aphex Twin stuff. He's like, that's coming soon.
Yeah,
I like that he's like not just doing one style either. With all the music he's releasing in a certain time, he's doing a bunch of different stuff in a short amount of time. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how he was for a little while too. Back like in the late '90s and the early 2000s, he released a few albums in a row. I mean, and there were like a few year breaks in between each one, but not as big as like the break between Drux and Cyro, which is like 13 years or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
it's 13 years.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely going to expect more stuff, especially since this was only a EP. He probably has another album in the works, if I had to guess. But I mean, I don't know when we would expect that.
I think he's recorded a lot of stuff. I think he just has to organize it all.
Yeah,
like he just needs to get it all together in an album and make sure it's all good.
Yeah,
which I think is like what he did, like just didn't enjoy doing. Maybe that's why there was like such a long break in between like the albums. It's just he just didn't feel like putting stuff together.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know like how to explain that huge gap, like from releasing. I think he did release stuff for a little while.
He released some EPs. I think he released some EPs and like some other stuff. I think he released an album under a different name. People like speculated was him.
I think he was. I think he did release a bunch of stuff that wasn't under Aphex Twin.
But I think the last thing he actually did release was like 2007. Was like the last time he released like an EP or anything like that.
Yeah, there was like. I think there was like a big series of stuff. Yeah, it was like
It was like something mixes for cash.
That was like an EP, and then there's also a name AFX, and that was a okay, it's kind of weird, but it was a really long series of recordings, like 3.5 hours long. They were all they were like separated into different like things called like Analords. There were 11.
The Analord series?
Analords, yeah, like Analord 1 through 11. Released in 2005, 42 tracks, 3.5 hours long. Really like long and hard to digest, but I mean, he wasn't like completely absent. He was still releasing stuff.
He was from 2007 until Cyro for like 7 years. He was completely absent though.
He switched names a lot. Like he also released something called under the name Caustic Window, I think.
No, that was before.
That was in 1994, and it got re-released in 2013. And that's what inspired him to like, okay, I think people actually want to hear new music from me.
He also released 2 EPs under the name The Tuss. But in
that's
like
what I was thinking about. 2007. That was like the last time he released something like new.
If you go to Wikipedia and go through Richard D. James' discography, this.
Okay, AJ's telling us it's time to move on.
Yeah. Okay.
We're talking about this a little too long.
This is the Aphex Twin Circle jerk. I was not aware.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to.
He has so much music. It's hard to not talk about him. But like
it's all good. Almost all of it's good.
Yeah, and he's like he's like such a weird figure. But okay, we should probably move on.
Okay, so Jeremiah, Aphex Twin did a collaboration with Death Grips. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
He did? What?
No.
What? No.
I was okay. I was making a joke about how whenever we talk about Death Grips, we always talk for like 90 minutes.
God fucking damn it!
You mentioned it this time.
It actually made me think.
We made it.
And so
this was gonna be the week.
And so with the
wasn't me
Aphex
this
Twin
time.
thing, you guys were talking for a long time, and anyways, okay. So what I've been listening to, I think that the thing I listened to the most, according to Last FM, is Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper.
What's that?
Which it's not bad. Chill out.
I said, what is that?
Oh, I thought you said it was bad. Okay.
No, I said, what's that? As if we didn't talk about it last week.
Okay, go.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Jeremiah.
Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper is the new release from Panda Bear. Who it's his 5th solo album.
Who's Panda Bear?
He's the guy from Animal Collective.
They're like these. It's this species of bear that lives
Who's
in
Animal Collective?
Animal Collective is
It's the child of each
group
individual
of a
beetle
bunch of
that came together to
animals.
make psychedelic music.
What's an animal?
Yeah.
Okay, please talk about that.
Alright, so, I know
We're
it's
jumping
been
to
getting a
shark
lot
this
of
week.
mixed. There's people have been very polarized on it, but I'm actually in the camp that really enjoyed it. My first few listens, I didn't really understand what was going on. It was hard to make out individual tracks. But the more and more I've listened to it, the more and more it's actually like becoming one of my favorite albums I've heard in a long time. I really, really dig the sound that he's captured here. Like, I mean, it's very Animal Collective, it's very Panda Bear, but it's just so like the psychedelic. It's very poppy and like chill and bubbly and just fun, but at the same time, there's also a darkness under it. And I think part of that is like the issue with mortality, which is of course in the title, but it's like he's become a father, and suddenly now death is everywhere, and death is staring him in the face wherever he goes. So I think there's that like essence, there's that darkness there, and I think that's best captured in, of course, Tropic of Cancer, the very, very beautiful harp-driven ballad about his father getting cancer and dying. There's a really powerful line, which is like, I think it's like, I didn't realize how bad it was, or something like that. Let me go find it. But essentially, it's very powerful. And then Lonely Wanderer is also beautiful. The piano on that song is beautiful. And the more listens I have, like the first songs that stood out to me were Mr. Noah, Crosswords, Butcher Baker, Candlestick Maker, Boys Latin, all those bangers. I was banging really hard. I was like, oh, so good. But then the more I listened to it, the more the last three songs, Princip, Real, Selfish Gene, and Acid Wash, the more those ones stood out to me. I think those are actually becoming my favorite songs on the album. They're really, really cohesive, and they just kind of finish the album on like on a very chill, but like a bubbly and chill, but kind of dark and mysterious, but also hopeful note. So I think it's actually a very, very solid album. I agree with Pitchfork's 8.7 Best New Music. I think it's actually a very good rating. I love this album, and I'm very glad I got it on vinyl because it sounds great and it looks great. And yeah, so that was my Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper thing. I love that album. I know people have been polarized. I know some people didn't like it here.
I liked it. Just
I
not
enjoyed it.
as
I thought
much
it was
as you.
okay.
Yeah.
It was
So
good.
today,
I didn't like it.
After an unfruitful record fair thing in DC, I stopped by another record store and I saw Father John Misty's debut, which I hadn't listened to, and I knew his album was coming out. It's actually the Vinyl Me Please album of the month, so I was like, I need to get into Father John Misty before this happens. And I'm actually not really familiar with Fleet Foxes either, so I didn't really
The
have a
Arsenal
taste.
Idiots
but-
podcast is brought to you by Vinyl Me Please.
Yes.
We need to get
Enter
advertisements on
code
the show.
Indieheads
We
for
need to get
10% off your first
Fantastic on
purchase.
We are lying. Don't do that.
Nintendo's not even like on the podcasts today. Anyways, yeah. So I picked it up because it has a really, really cool cover, and I've listened to it on repeat for the last like 5 hours. It's really, really, really good. It sounds great on vinyl. It looks great. The cover is hilariously awesome, and I just love his way of songwriting. It's very soft, but his voice is very forward, and his voice is very, very pleasant. And he sings about the craziest things. Like there's a line about like the shaman of Portugal like cursed him, and now he's running down the street with his pants around his legs, something like that.
Oh, I hate when that happens, dude. It's the worst.
I haven't listened to the album enough to actually know what's going on, but I really enjoyed that. And of course, Joey Badass. We already talked about that. So that's what I'm listening to. Nick, take it away, my man.
Okay, so there was this thread earlier in the week that was like best riffs in indie music, and I decided I'd check it out because I thought that I could use some good riffs. And the top comment is, like is a song called Toe Cutter Thumb Buster by Theo C's. Never heard of I heard of the band before. I didn't listen to them before this, so I opened up the music video, and it's like on Pitchfork's YouTube channel, which is kind of irrelevant, but I just noticed that. And then like the music video. Have you guys watched this music video?
Was
Or
this the
have
one
you
with
heard
the
song?
shark?
No, it's not that. Have you guys heard of this? First of all, have you heard of this band?
No, I have not.
Okay, they're basically like garage rock, kind of like heavy, lo-fi stuff, and they're
Oh, that's me, Jeremiah. Sorry, keep going.
they're
Something in the chat.
yeah, I mean, like, they're just pretty like heavy stuff, and like, so this video is like, do you guys? It's kind of like there's kind of like a surprise part, but I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm just gonna spoil it anyways. There's this.
Hey,
Stop.
I don't want spoilers here.
Okay, I'm not
Spoiler
spoiling
free
it. The
zone.
music video made me, and like the song fits really well with the music video, and just like I thought it was really interesting and made me really want to get into this band. So I looked at their album called that song was off of, called Floating Coffin, and it's this the album cover is like a bunch of strawberries, and like there's like eyes behind the strawberries, like demonic eyes, and then like teeth. It's like the most messed up, like crazy album cover ever. Floating Coffin by TOC's. Oh, I just actually started the music, so if you are listening to the podcast right now, you just heard the first 2 seconds of a TOC song.
Dude, now we're gonna get flagged. Come
yeah.
on, man.
Ah,
Better
Jesus.
than that.
Okay, sorry.
We almost got plugged last week.
But this stuff is super crazy, like intense garage rock, super heavy in some parts, and like really kind of weird, but also like really catchy, I guess. Like the riffs are all really catchy. Like they all have really distinct like rhythm, and I mean that all sounds really good. And I need to get into the rest of their discography and the genre in general, like Ty Segall. Really want to get into that guy.
He's great.
Yeah, he sounds like really good, and I haven't actually listened to him at all. But that genre, garage rock, I need to get into it. Okay, next album. The World is a Beautiful Place, and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, Whenever, If Ever. Emo, punk, kind of basic stuff from like 2 years ago or something, last year or something.
2013.
2013, yeah. I kind of looked into this genre a little bit when I first discovered the band American Football, and I was
It's
looking
like,
for
yeah, they're a very, if any band is like American Football 2.0, it's this band.
yeah, I was looking for
Yeah.
like, I was looking for like some emo kind of rock, I mean, not like out there that much, but I got this this album recommended to me a few times, and honestly, this album I felt like it was a little bit mediocre in some parts. I think that they don't really do anything completely like out of the blue or like out of the ordinary, I guess. A few of the songs on here are really good, though. I'll totally admit that a few of these songs are like some of my favorite songs ever. I mean, like that was actually a little bit of an exaggeration, but Getting Sodas, the last song on this album, is ridiculously good. It's the best, like one of the best songs. Like
I really like the opener.
yeah, the opener is
Yeah,
good
that's a great
too.
song.
Opener, the last song, Getting Sodas, it's just really, really good, and it like embodies this genre of like emo rock, like emo revival.
This is a very like staple emo album. Like
Yeah, I mean the album as a whole is not really like, it's kind of basic, I guess. Like
no, I wasn't as enthused with this album as some people were, but
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big fan of the genre. So like
yeah,
I thought this is like one of the most like notable releases of the genre though, like in a long time.
but the last album, the guitar work on the last song, I mean, like I don't know if any of you guys listen to Explosions in the Sky. I think AJ does, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the guitar work on the last song reminds me of Explosions in the Sky. If you haven't, you should actually go back and listen to that, because it actually really reminds me of it. It's kind of like building up, like crescendo into like these like background vocals, and it's just a really good song. I feel like I didn't end up talking about the album, and I just talked about the last song on the album. But I mean, it's pretty good. It's not like amazing or anything like that, but I liked it, and the last song is really good still. And okay, last album I listened to, kind of combined 2 albums into one here because I listened to them both about the same, but I kind of can talk about them both at once. Andrew Jackson, Jihad, People That Can Eat People Are the Luckiest People in the World / Knife Man. I really like these guys. I think I found them because I was looking for stuff similar to like Neutral Mokotal, I think. And I mean, I know they're not super similar, but you know, like the instrumentation has a lot of similarities, like, you know, guitar and a front vocalist, and I don't know if there's any horns in Andrew Jackson Jihad songs, but there might be. These guys are kind of different, I guess, but I really like them. They're kind of like they have a really distinct style. Their lyrics are really kind of crazy sometimes, but People That Can Eat People is really like personal record in my opinion, and it's a lot more like philosophical than Knife Man is. Like People That Can Eat People, a lot of the songs reflect on like living life and going through like what you'll go through in your life, and like how the lead singer would deal with it. Like Rejoice is a song about, you know, like the world is going to treat you like crap all the time, but you know, like you can still be happy about it, about being here in the first place. And you know, the last couple songs, People Too and People, just kind of talk about society as in general, I guess. And I really enjoyed this album. It's pretty short. It's pretty short and clean, but I thought I really like these guys. All right, that's all I had to listen to.
It's good.
I guess I'm next.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk about Aphex Twin, but we obviously talked about that for enough. So I guess, I mean, this isn't, everyone's listened to this album 1,000 times, but I'll say Pinkerton, because I just remember listening to it I was going to listen to it in the car ride home. I'm like, I just really want to listen to Pinkerton. It's one of those albums, it's my second favorite album. I just want to listen to it right now. And then,
fun fact, Ethan, let me, we talked about this before, and we all love it here. A lot.
I mean, it's an essential Indiehead album, I would say. Is it on the essentials list?
Yeah.
Do you think it's better than Blue?
No.
Yes.
I agree with that, Ethan. I think it's better than Blue.
Matty and I both agree.
I think
both are amazing, and I
great.
And I liked Everything Will Be Alright in the end. Those are the 3 Weezer albums I like. But back to Pinkerton, I was driving home, and the road was cut off, and the road was closed, and then I tried to go the second way route, and that was closed too. So that's my story, and Pinkerton's a great album. Everyone who's listening to this has probably listened to it as much as I have. So like, what can I say about that album? I mean, it's perfect. So I guess I'll talk about albums that are a little less like universal. I find I got during the same record fair Jeremiah went to, I got actually a bunch of good records, but the one
he did way better than I did.
Yeah,
for sure.
I got a bunch of good stuff, and the one that the only one I listened to so far is Elvis Costello, Last Year's Model. Holy fuck, this is a good album. I didn't listen to it before, and I mean I knew it got a perfect 10 on Pitchfork and whatever, and I'd listened to the radio and Pump It Up, but it's a really fucking good album. I didn't listen to it that closely because it was just kind of in the background while I was doing other stuff, but it's just so upbeat, it's just like alternative before. It just like, it sounds like so many bands that we listen to now. I mean, just it sounds like so many different things, yet it sounds so singular. And Elvis Costello is such a great singer. I mean, he's not in like a traditional way, but like just in the emotion he packs into his voice. It's a really good album, and I'm gonna have to listen to it many more times to fully get it. And the last album, I got this album in the mail on vinyl this week, so this is why I'm listening to these kind of 2 random records, because I just got them on vinyl. But I listened to the Thermals, the Body, the Blood, the Machine for the first time. Really, really good punk, pop, punk, post-punk, whatever you want to call it, record. Hutch Harris is a super amazing lyricist, singer, guitar player, and just every song is really good on this album. There's not a bad song. The Thermals have this sound that they kind of sound. They have the familiarness that you have of pop punk or emo or whatever it is. What would you got? Do you guys listen to the Thermals?
I've never heard of them.
I do not.
Oh really? You guys got to listen.
You're on your own, buddy.
Okay. You got to listen to this album. It's amazing. And whatever they just have this familiarness, but they go out into this like so much more adventure. It's like I don't like a lot of pop punk, but this album just goes so much further into like what it could be, and he's talking about most of the songs about religion, or songs are about religion and stuff. and it's fascinating, his views on stuff, and he's not anti-religion, but he's not pro-religion either. It's just his trying to deal with like his connection to a greater being, and it's a fantastic album, highly recommended. I feel like it should be.
I'll also check it out. That's very good speech.
Yeah, thank you. It's on Spotify, guys. You can check it out.
It's on Spoofy.
Yeah.
Spoofy.
And it's just one of those records. So like I could imagine myself. I've listened to it in bits and pieces before, but this is like the first time I've just sat down and listened to it. I can imagine myself going back to this a lot. It's a good background record. I'm going to listen to this. Sit down and listen to this record. It's just a really good record.
I'll have to check it out then. That's the
Definitely.
best compliment. That's the best compliment you can give an album, really. Is like, I'll sit down and listen to it. So I'll have to check it out.
There's some albums though that I feel like I would only play. There's some albums that I feel like are almost better in the background. I can't think of anything on the top of my head, but like Aphex Twin's first album is perfect for background music. Not in a bad way. I love that album.
No, it's exactly, that's a good description.
So
I guess on to me now.
yeah.
I'm going to keep it short this week because, one, we need to get to the main topic, and two, because I didn't listen to that much this week besides the album we're going to talk about later. So one album I did listen to a little bit this week was Viet Cong, which I talked about a little bit last week, and I listened to it a bit more. It's so
Awesome.
good. It's really,
It's
really
so
good.
good.
I wasn't that crazy about it, guys.
Ooh.
I didn't listen to it.
Tell us more.
You know what, dude?
It was
Can't
just
have
too
a different
kind of like
opinion.
it was too kind of like samey for me. It all sounded the same, and like
of course, it's AJ who says this too.
it was like
AJ, gay
it was
hobo.
I'm gonna give it some more. I'm gonna give it some more tries, but I wasn't crazy about it.
I think I need to get into more post.
I was blown away.
Oh,
and I don't
Jesus
even-
Christ, what are you doing to the schedule?
That was an
Hold
accident.
What?
Don't worry about it. Don't even talk about it.
I was blown away by it the
We're a
first
box
time I
podcast now.
heard it streamed on NPR, and I'm not really big into the post-punk, like, noise rock, art rock, math rock kind of thing. I'm not really big into
Math
that.
rock?
That's
I don't
not
know what the
it
hell
is.
you
Yeah.
call it. Whatever that, like, kind of harder, grittier stuff is.
No wave?
More dense. Maybe,
It's not
I don't know.
I wouldn't say no
Post-punk.
wave.
It's post-punk. I'm not really big into that, and
Lo-fi.
I was
Lo-fi.
not expecting to like it when I listened to it on NPR, and it just blew me away. So that's why I think it's actually, if it impressed me enough to not like, I was blown away on the first listen. So I think it's very good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Best
it.
songs
Like, the drumming is
are
the
all of them. I really like
the
March of
instrumentation's
Progress
great.
and Bunker Buster. Those ones are,
Mhm.
I think, my favorites.
Yeah, the instrumentation's really good. The drumming especially is really awesome. Like, they're very hard-hitting drums. Like, I think on March of Progress is like the beginning part is like just this really great, like, kind of weird, like it was like drums and like some sort of, how would you describe it? It's not really, maybe it's guitars? I don't know.
Wait.
It was like the intro of like March of Progress. It's like kind of like a little like product. Anyways, it was very good. I really like this
March
album.
of Progress is a good song. I like that song.
I really like the drums. The drums is great. The vocals are also really nice. I still need to give it a bit more listens because I feel like I haven't like got the entire it hasn't really hit me yet of the entirety of it. But it's really good.
It's good on
And
vinyl.
also, I didn't have this in the schedule, but I want to talk about the new Bad Bad Not Good and Ghostface song. Ray Gun. The music that came out this week, and I've been listening to the song a bunch, and oh my god, it's so good. I'm really excited for Sour Soul.
It's my favorite band ever.
Sour Soul. Do you think Bad Bad Not Good is your favorite band ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
There's this really weird, like, okay, I needed to talk a little bit about this. Like, I'm gonna go off on a tangent, but not for like really long. Like, okay.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Okay,
Go for
the
it.
reason that these guys are my favorite band ever is because they have a ridiculous amount of replay value that stands out to me over like every other band that I listen to. And I mean, I know they're not like, they don't really have like a bunch of like technical they're really good musicians, but there's not like a bunch of mind-blowing moments in a lot of their songs, but there's just so much to listen to in a lot of their music and it just never got old to me. Like, each one of their albums brings something different with, like, you know, all the original content in 3 and like the freaking like Nazi spam in the Skype chat.
Okay, I'm just back on. What just happened?
Okay, I think. Okay, anyways, keep going on about
Yeah.
Bad Bad Not Good.
I was talking
Sorry.
about something.
My bad.
Yeah, there's this. I don't know. I just think that I really enjoy their sound, and like as a band, I think that they bring a lot of really interesting stuff, and they just get better and better every time. And they're gonna be, mark my words, they'll be very important in the hip hop scene in the future.
I mean, yeah, after this album, I feel like, yeah, they're really going to be, like, more people are going to be willing to, like, go to them for production, because, like, Raygun and both, actually, all the singles so far sound really, really good. They sound really good. Like, I really just love, and, like, Doom is on Raygun also.
Yeah, the fact that they've
so perfectly.
These guys have 3 albums out so far, and they've been able to collaborate with, like, some of the biggest rappers in the game right now. So if you get any involvement with Wu-Tang Clan is, like, good in the first place. So that's one thing that they have. You know, having ties with Odd Future too is like really important, because Odd Future is a really popular hip hop group.
Not as much anymore.
I mean, not as much, but they still have a very definite.
Whenever they're at the top of their hype, they I think they had a live performance with Tyler. Like there's some YouTube videos.
They have a very definite standpoint. Odd Future has a very definite standpoint in the hip hop scene, and they let me think. They are a bunch of really young guys, and they have a bunch of really great music, and the fact that they've been able to collaborate with some really important people in the hip hop scene already is really good, because they have. I mean, what else could they do? That would be really good. Bad But Not Good's album will be very good, and we're definitely going to talk about that album. That'll be the main topic the week it comes out. Mark my words.
Okay, so I guess that's really all we have this week for what we listened to. On to the main topic, which I've been waiting to talk about.
Matt's
Björk released a new album called Volny Kura. It was supposed to come out in March, but it was leaked onto the internet early, and of course, in sort of in a sort of a damage control, she released the album on iTunes by surprise, and of course, the leak was in really low quality anyway, so I was really like waiting for high quality to come. And oh my god, I'm so excited to talk about this album. It's so good.
What is a Björk? Is it a type
Okay,
of
so
sport?
Björk, if you guys do not know, Björk, she has been a musician for a number of years. I think almost 3 decades at least.
Yeah, she's like
More than 3 decades. She's been making music since she was like really, really young, like 4 decades at least. She's been, in music, and she started off like I think she was discovered in Iceland as a child, and then sort of took a break. She joined the Sugar Cubes, did very successful with them, then ended up launching an even more successful solo career, releasing a number of albums including Debut, Post, Homogenic, Vespertine, Volta, and Biophilia, and this new album, Volny Kura. And, of course, let's see, what should we start off with, like, with a discussion?
Album of the fucking year?
What do we want to talk about first? Do we just want to talk about, like, the lyrics, maybe? Like, the context of the album?
I'll talk a little bit about it at first, if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I actually, the way I've listened to Björk is kind of, like, weird, because I didn't listen to a lot of stuff besides, like, the first 3 albums. The album I listened to the most by her was probably Post. I also listened to Homogenic and Debut a lot, but I didn't get into much else besides that for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't really know why. I didn't really know where to start or go from what I liked, so I kind of just stuck with what I had listened to so far. And I gave this album a shot because, mainly because of, like, it's a really big artist that dropped an album, and I think it would make a lot of sense to start listening to it. But, like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this album, like the production credits. Arca is producing on some of these tracks.
I think co-produced like 6 of the tracks.
Arca,
he co-produced like 6 of the tracks with Björk, and then one with Hax and Cloak.
Yeah, and then Hax and Cloak.
Also Hax and Cloak and Björk.
Yeah, and I really think that she's doing what she does best, and I was when I saw the production credits and I saw that Björk and Hax and Cloak would both be involved, I was expecting like this really weird, like, crazy stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really dark electronic.
Yeah, Matty, you've been saying that you, like, didn't think that this was, like, you didn't seem that, or you thought Arca's production was, like, wasted on this, but it's really subdued.
No,
Yeah.
no, don't get me wrong when I said that. When I first listened to it, when the leak came out, I was a little disappointed at first, because I was really expecting Arca's production to be more prominent. I was really expecting, like, the Off the Walls production to be more prominent, and I was disappointed. But once I listened to the lyrics, like once I like listened to the lyrics and read them, and like got the context of the album, it all clicked. The strings, they made sense. If it was just like, I think I said, I have a YouTube review up on my YouTube channel where it's got 4,000 views right now. Yeah, Strike When the Iron's Hot, Fantano. Anyway, so yeah, I said that I was disappointed at first, but once the context of the album, like once the lyrics, the strings, the fact that they were more prominent, if it was just like Arca's production, like the crazy off-the-walls production, it wouldn't have worked. Like the strings, they really add like the emotional value to the album. Like they really like push what she's going for with like, the album, if you guys do not know, the album is about her breakup with artist Matthew Barney. And sort of the first 6 tracks are very, they sort of detail what happened before and after the breakup. In the digital booklet, there's like it says like the subtitles of the song says like certain months later, like certain months before or after. Like the first track is 9 months before. So like the breakup is like, it's not like a sudden like devastation. It is like it was building up over time. Like it was a progression of like, okay, something is not right. But I don't want to repeat myself too much. Yeah. So yeah, once you read the lyrics, like it really like everything ties together very well. It's definitely a grower because like I think we all agreed it's like a grower.
I don't know. I thought that like just up front, the first listen, it wasn't like terrible. Like I mean, obviously, it's not a terrible album. That wasn't the right word. It was pretty easy to digest, in my opinion. There wasn't because Arca. When I was going into it, I was expecting a lot of like crazy production because Arca was involved. But I think that the reason that there isn't a lot of that is probably because Björk didn't want that to happen. Like she probably was like, okay, well, I'd rather that this is how the production goes, and I'm like, you're here to, like, I don't know,
And more of Arca's stuff, it's definitely more in the background.
Style.
You hear it a lot more in the background.
Yeah, and I mean that might be the main like thing is that like she probably just it kind of makes me respect Arca a lot more as a producer because he's not a one-trick pony anymore. He's more of like he can adapt to the specific style of like the of the producer or of the artist, and
that was like apparent from FKA Twigs.
Yeah, exactly.
For me,
from his with her.
This just
AP2.
Yeah, this just shows that even more.
He is diverse. He's extremely diverse. He has diversity in his production. He's what's the word? He's very variance.
Multi-talented.
Multi-talented. I'm trying. Keep going with what you're saying while I think of the word.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. So like, I think that I forgot what I was gonna say. So that sucks.
Okay. I guess okay. So, of course, the context of the album. The first 3 songs are about before the breakup, like sort of and right away, like you kind of know. She tells you right away there's something that's not right, like and with the Stone Milker, I like it. But I prefer. I think of those 6 tracks, I think it's my least favorite. Honestly,
Stomach's pretty good though.
It's good. It's not my favorite track on the. It's not my.
That's actually one of my favorite.
But it works really well as an intro. But like once you really digs into the stuff, it's a lot better.
Yeah, I guess you have listened to it like 90 times, haven't you? So you know better than I do.
I've listened to it quite a lot as well. Not as much as Matty. I don't think anyone has.
Maybe Björk.
I mean, I didn't really get I'm gonna say my first impressions of it at first, or like my first, because I didn't really get a chance to talk while you guys were all talking. Real fast. This is my first Björk album. It's really, really good. I didn't know what to expect. I expected minimalism. I expected weirdness, and I did, and it delivered. I think you guys mentioned the strings. I love the strings. They're so haunting and like beautiful and gorgeous and really, really heartbreaking, really, really emotional, really, really brutal, and it's really like hard. Like when I first listened to it, all the songs blended together. I didn't understand what she was saying. I didn't really know what was going on. But more and more listens, it's really like, the story of her breakup and the story of like her life just like falling apart in her hands is just so gripping and so heartbreaking. I mean, it's really good. I think "Not Get" is my favorite song.
And I really enjoyed "Not Get."
That's my short little. Back to you. Sorry.
So again, Stone Milker, as I was saying earlier, it works as an intro. It's really good, but I prefer the other 5 tracks to it. Like Family, not Family. That's the 5th track. not Lion Song is really good. Like I really like the chorus in that song. It's like maybe he'll come around It's like maybe he'll come around eventually. Maybe he won't. It doesn't bother me either way. Which when you get to Black Lake, it's like, oh, never mind. She, it definitely did get to her. So let's see. Of course, production we talked about a little bit, but the strings are very good. And then Hacks and Cloak was the mixed the entire album. I think there's only one track he did with someone else, and the mixing is really, really good. By the way, like I think because I mentioned this in my review, where like he knows exactly when like to put more focus on like certain things. Like he knows when the strings should be the main focus, and when maybe to like let Arcus production kind of take over a little bit. And I think it works really well. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, as Jeremiah said, the strings are so good. They're so good, which they were all composed by Björk, by the way, or Björk I think it's the correct way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Björk.
So, wait, did you already say something about the album, Ethan?
I didn't. So this is the first Björk, whatever it is, album that I've ever listened to. I think Jeremiah, you said that was the same case with you.
Yep.
So this isn't my kind of music really, and I'm not going to listen to it again, but that doesn't mean I didn't think it was a very good album. I thought it was very well done. I thought the first 3 tracks, which is interesting because I didn't realize that was the 3 tracks that was before the breakup. I thought those were pretty underwhelming. But when it gets like halfway through Black Lake, that's when the album really picks up for me. I don't know, I feel like that as the album goes on, like the production becomes a bit more of an emphasis, and that really. And then there's the couple. I can't remember which song, but there was 2 songs that sort of like a kind of like a really fast string intro that really kind of picked up the pace of the songs for me, and that made it a bit more interesting.
Family maybe, because Family like it does that halfway through, like the violin like it's like din 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 din.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that part. I remember
that was really cool, and that really because from my perspective as not someone who really listens to this kind of music, like Björk, like really kind of has a very slow emotional voice that is really powerful, but can kind of sometimes wane in interest for me. So like when she does something more interesting with the production or the strings, it really brings the album. I thought that's why my favorite track was probably Quicksand, because it just was, the production was so like fast, the drums were really fast and it was kind of crazy what was happening. And it was chaotic.
With Quicksand, I like Quicksand. It's a good song, but as a closer, I think it kind of just ends. But I did read one of my YouTube comments where someone was saying, well, it was like kind of representative of like the emotions were like they don't just like most emotions you just don't get over it right away. Like, you never really get over something.
There should have been a more resonant conclusion. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like
it needed. I hate to bring this up, but it needed like I don't remember what the song is, but the last track on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like it needed a song like that.
Who Will Survive in America?
Not that one, the Bon Iver one.
Lost in the World.
It needed a track like that where she kind of places because the album is, this was my like initial review on Twitter of it, is that it's like an emotional journey, and it absolutely is. And it needed a track at the end that was like reflective. That's really the only.
Well, I'm gonna lyrically, the song is a great outro because it's like her just being like, okay, I gotta at least try to move on, for my family, at least for my daughter, I have to protect her, and how can I protect her when I'm not, if I'm not protecting myself or whatever, something along like the lines of that, like I have to be strong for my child. And lyrically it works, but production-wise, I think they could have done a little something extra to like make it seem like a good closer.
Maybe add a 5-second thing at the end where it kind of slows down, because I feel like the album's kind of a crescendo upwards. It kind of, that's redundant, but that there's kind of this upward motion to throughout the whole album, and that Quicksand is kind of like the cathartic, very energetic song at the end. But I feel like if they had done this thing like for the last 20 seconds or something where they just kind of slow it down and kind of bring it back to like and that would kind of round it out a bit better.
If they added a little bit extra to the production, like an extra 20 seconds that like kind of fades things out a bit, that would have worked.
I think they also could have used Chris Rock, honestly. Chris Rock skit I think would have actually really helped
it's like
really paint the narrative
Björk taught
better.
me.
I think these kind of albums should have new wave albums or whatever. These kind of albums should definitely
New
have
wave?
more
What?
skits. I don't know, man. That's
New
what I
wave
read
is
on
like Talking
Wikipedia.
Heads. This is not new wave. This is more like just like experimental, I'd
This is
say.
experimental pop. Like,
Okay, experimental
That's
pop should have more skits then.
Yeah.
I definitely think, Eminem style, like, just...
You.
Eminem's
Window
skits are
pane.
hilarious.
Needs a window pane lyric. There was a lack of window pane lyrics in
Window pane?
the
What?
album. But yeah, I say a little bit more in my review where, yeah. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this album. I thought it was great. Let's see, using our new head-related system, what would you guys rate this?
Yeah, what are we giving away?
I'll
Are
go.
we?
No, we're
we'll
rating.
talk
we're
about it
rating
way next.
Oh, we're rating the album.
Yeah,
I'm honestly going to give this one our blew my head off rating. I genuinely think this is a front runner. Like, this is to be beat for album of the year, in my opinion. Like, this is really fucking good.
If I had to give this album a rating, it would be the scene where the guy gets his head blown off in the movie Scanners. That's me.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, Ethan. Okay, Ethan. The ratings we use. Okay,
Sorry.
because we are called the r/Indieheads podcast. We use a rating that is equivalent to, you have to use some sort of head related
Okay.
rating.
Okay.
So like, would you give it like a slight nod, maybe something to do with heads?
I feel like it's like in every Three Stooges movie where someone hits their head on a bar, but if that was a positive thing.
Okay, so it is
Yeah. Okay.
so it's a long pipe.
Yeah.
It is when you're walking down the basement and you hit your head on a pipe
But in a good way.
in a good way.
Alright, so-
It's like if you had amnesia before and then you hit your hand on the pipe and like all your memory comes back.
No. It's more
No?
the pain, but if the pain was the opposite of pain.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
This is really going far.
Oh
my
Metaphor.
god. Okay, next.
So there's a lot of thought has gone into this one. So it's like when you're walking at night in the forest, and then you realize that Khan killed Spock, right? And you're just like fall onto your knees, and you just like lift your head up to the heavens and like scream.
This is a good one.
That's
a
what
good
this album
one.
is like.
Björk.
Yeah, but you schemed before.
Like looking way up at the sky and just being like, Björk! And just like you're like crushed, like your soul is like.
Spinning crane shot into the rain as you
That's
goes
what,
up.
that's what this album's like. It's like
Yeah.
that feeling when you're just like, and it's raining too.
Okay.
Okay.
My head-related rating is like, it's like when you're watching a TV show and like, oh, Jesus, this bug just flew on my TV. Okay, but it's like, okay, what else? As I was saying, it's like when you're watching a TV show and like you get really emotionally attached to a character, and then the character just dies like out of the blue. Like you don't even like expect it. It just happens. But
I
then
mean, like when Snape
the
kills
overall, but then as the episode is ending, like the overall like positive message of the episode and the everything, like the collection of events in that episode, it all ends up working out in the end. So
That was not a head-related rating.
Oh,
Try again.
Okay, let me just try to.
About Game
It's
of
like
Thrones,
it's like you start crying and like
Mountain
your tears are
Versus-
like coming down your face and you're like screaming and like hitting stuff and you're really upset, like you're crying,
You haven't said head once yet, though.
So
Yeah.
it's like the
tears are streaming down your
It's like,
head.
it's like the fight
okay?
between the mountain and the Red
So
Viper.
it's season 5, episode 14 of Breaking Bad.
No,
Okay,
Game
yeah.
of
During the Mexican
Thrones. Game of
standoff.
Thrones,
Oh, when
the duel.
Walter is on
Wedding.
the ground.
Okay,
We're gonna
tears
spoil
are
everything.
streaming down your
We're
head,
spoiling everything.
and you're just like, but then
That's good.
at the end, like you're like wiping the tears off your head, and you're like, you know what, it's all gonna be okay in the end. So yeah,
Just like Weezer.
yeah.
Thank you, Rivers.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
we have some other stuff to say.
Okay,
right?
so to end off the podcast before we get into the song of the week, we held a contest for Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper, where we would pick our favorite head related rating system, who had the best rating for it. And user. So the user named TribeFan2510. Nick, I will tell you the song of the week. Okay.
Okay.
He gave the rating of. So he gave Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper a most excellent 1 3/4 out of 2 shrunken heads from Harry Potter.
You have to like say it in the voice.
Okay, 1 3/4. I don't want to say it because it's racist. I don't want to get.
1 3/4.
1 3/4 out of 2 shrunken heads. Okay, god damn it. We're not doing it.
1
God damn it. We're jumping the shark right now.
Now?
We're jumping now.
I think
Anyways,
Twin.
so this guy's getting bloomed by Beach
Okay,
House. Congratulations.
He's getting bloomed by Beach House. We'll send you the code.
Great album. It's actually
tomorrow.
on my... I think it's number 2 on my last FM this week. So, great. Congratulations. Great album.
So that was the R-Stars and Indieheads podcast. The song of the week is It Ain't Quicksand by Björk. It's the 10-minute epic Black Lake.
Black Lake by
No.
Bjork.
Yes.
Alright.
We're playing the album Centerpiece, Black Lake, okay?
Yeah.
People are gonna look at this. We're gonna be like an hour and 40, and people are gonna be like, nope.
Okay, yeah, well,
Okay, fine, it's Quicksand.
yeah, it's Quicksand by
You guys
Bjork.
want to give away... Wait, sorry. Wait.
Do we want to do another giveaway? Oh, it's
I
too
have-
late.
I think I have Ariel Pink's Pom Pom.
Okay, we can do that. So we're going to have another
I'm pretty
giveaway.
sure
Yeah,
I
same
don't-
same
I
thing as
think-
last
I think
time,
there's
right?
2 different...
We're
I
having
guess-
another... So yes, so the
just
same
beat
thing
down
as last time. Give us your best head-related rating to the new Bjork,
Except
Bjork
we'll give
album.
2. There's 2 winners this time.
There's 2 winners this time. Okay.
Alright.
So whoever,
I think
so
it
the
worked.
best people who gives the best 2 Bjork ratings for the new album, that is a head-related rating, you will get Ariel Pink's Pom Pom.
Which is a great and very, very weird album.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed the song of the week, and see ya.
Bye.
Good work, everybody.
Adios.